stuff. Hello and welcome to the Call of Duty Vista. Today we have the Call of Duty Challengers Guardian, the founder of the Rotation, photographer, podcast host, and social media guru, RotationAnt.
Wow, hello mate. Yeah, that's a glowing introduction. Thank you very much for that.
No worries. We're trying to get as much gas in early as we can, you know.
I'll take anything and everything that you can throw my way.
Love it. I love it. I mean, let's dive straight in. So, obviously, the Rotation has been a staple of the challenger scene and for years now. How did it? Is that scary?
Honestly, it makes me feel old, if anything. Like I turned 24 this year, and I'm just not ready for that.
24, mate. Fuck it now. So obviously, it was a massively needed when it started, and even more so now. How did it start?
Honestly, mate, I'm not sure how we ended up in the position where we are now, because it started as like a university project. So it was like in the final year of my journalism degree, I had to create like a full-bodied piece of journalistic work. So what I did was I made a magazine and a website to accompany it, and that wasn't Challengers COD or anything like that. It was like a very broad look at esports, because like part of the requirements for it was to fill a gap in the market, and obviously there's not really anything like that for esports. Obviously stuff has popped up now in the years since then. But that's how it began, and then I'm not even sure how we ended up where we are now, because it just sort of like slowly developed into just COD and then just Challengers over like the first 6 to 8 months of like just getting reps in and covering things, and now we're in a position where it's like the biggest Challengers account that has ever existed. Obviously, the predecessor was like CDC Update, which Alicia Wicks ran. And did a fantastic job with that as well. But when they decided to stop their efforts towards it, they tailed off at the end towards the end of what they were doing as well. I remember at one point they brought on ACCL founder Prezi as well, and that was like the beginning of the end for that. So I'm just honestly I'm glad to be in a position where I say we, but it's pretty much just myself providing like a valuable thing to the community in general.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to touch on as well, because like I don't think people realise the amount of work that has to go into providing the coverage, right? But two, also, like you say, the majority of it is you, and like obviously you can see it, right? And there's a lot of coverage that happens, but having one person do that, covering EU, NA, bits of APAC as well when you can, like. Your sleep schedule must be
non-existent.
Trust me, like this is something that people don't realize. Like I work 50 hours a week as well.
Yeah.
Like I have a full-time job that I have to work from 2 till 10 p.m. UK time every day, and then even sometimes on the weekends. Like I had to work yesterday. Like, and then I've got all of that plus elite coverage plus cups, and then paying for myself to be at LAN most of the time. Like this kind of stuff is like so difficult, and it takes so much energy, and like you say, the sleep schedule is chalked.
I mean,
what job do you do full time?
Sorry,
what is your full-time job? I didn't actually know that you had one.
My full-time job is social media for eFuse.
Nice.
Basically, yeah, we run like influencer Warzone tournaments and Fortnite tournaments and stuff like that. So I do all of the social coverage for that. And I also like help write the formats and just help out wherever.
I mean, those Warzone tournaments are huge as well. Sorry, Cop.
Yeah. They're like between 25,000 and 75,000 most of the time.
Love that. I just wanted to ask the question. I never know, so a bit of an insider scoop. That's what I wanted.
I mean, and another thing. This is a question I actually don't know the answer to, and it's the Anfield talk. Did you start that or?
Yeah. Back in 2014, that was like my first like social media thing that I started. There was like, I was to give like a little bit of like possibly oversharing. Like it was tough for me growing up. like at that age, I was looking for reasons to not have to focus on my home life. So what I did was I thought I'd start something that I could put time and energy into that would like distract me from stuff, and that was what I got into, and that was the thing that eventually did influence me to choose to do a journalism degree in the first place. So without that, I literally wouldn't be doing the stuff that I am now.
That's mad. And you did some football coverage as well at a time as well, right?
Yeah. I worked for the Liverpool Echo. At one point, I covered Tranmere Rovers for a year and a half, which was the worst standard of football I've ever seen. Like, trust me, right? Like, some League Two football was good. Like, some teams I'd go and watch and be like, oh yeah, you're a decent team, but Tranmere were never that.
Yeah, I guess at least you got in for free, right? But sometimes I bet that was a curse rather than a blessing.
No, but like you had to go to all of the away games as well. So like I'm traveling to places like Walsall. Their stadium's called the Poundland Stadium. Like I can't take it seriously, bro.
There's some crap away days in that league.
Oh, trust me. Like being from Liverpool and then having to travel to Exeter away was horrible.
How long is that round trip?
I had to stay overnight because it was like an 8-hour train there, and then the last train home got cancelled, and then I was like stranded in Exeter for a night. Yeah,
that is shocking.
grim. I'm never going back to doing that. Trust me.
Oh, don't blame you. And then on your, well, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but like this is how my brain works. So, what got you interested in COD in the first place?
Well, obviously I played COD like growing up and shit, and like I've followed along with like Black Ops 1 when I was like little, and then I fell out of love with it after, well, around Black Ops 2 time, funnily enough, and then it was actually Gabe who brought me back into it. It was
streams.
Yeah, through his streams, like just randomly I started watching Gabe. This is like just before COVID, and that was like the hook that brought me back into competitive COD was Gabe. And I'm pretty sure I've told him that before, but that might be the first time that everybody else hears that. Oh, unfortunately, the conservative Tory that is Gabriel Aroma Hamshaw is the reason that I'm in COD again.
Oh man, Gabe. Lost him to NA now, but
thank God we got rid of him, to be honest.
I mean, we're going to try and speak to him tomorrow, but like, because he's on NA schedule, it's like 1 a.m. our time. And
yeah, it's tough.
I go to bed at like 10 o'clock, so like this is 1 a.m. It is like way past me.
It's gonna be
1 a.m.'s normal times for me.
Yeah, just getting started.
Maybe we get Ant on.
Yeah. Amazing. And then on the rotation, right? So like you said, it started off as a magazine. I vaguely remember. Were you selling the magazines for the COD editions at one point? I vaguely remember.
So no, that's not how it like ended up panning out. So basically, because it was like for my degree, I had to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, I'll just print a load out that people can have. So it was like the exact amount that it cost me to print. I was like, okay, just chuck me £2 and you can have one of these copies of the magazine. And funnily enough, Gabe was on the front of that as well. But funnily enough, we're me and Alex, my girlfriend, who's one of the most fantastic photographers that I've ever met. We're working on doing something again for Toronto, where we're going to be giving out like little like, like football games have programs.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one of those for the Toronto event, and we're gonna be giving out free to everyone at the event.
Amazing.
That's class.
So that's something that's in the works for us.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, we'll try and blank that out if you don't want us to. I love that.
No, that's fine. That's just something little that we're trying to work on. Just because like there's a lack of that as well. We don't have programs at CDL events. Yeah. And even less so for challenges, and like so it'll be like a little like A5 book, like you get at a football game. It'll be exactly like that.
It's a nice little memento to get your hands on as well, right?
100%.
Exactly. If that can be something that you can like remember the Toronto Challenges event by, then even better. And yeah, we'll be giving it out like free to anybody who wants one.
Like free?
Yeah, free.
Fair play. I think you can. Well, I suppose it'd be like who's carrying a couple of dollars change. Be like EU lads, yeah, no
Yeah.
chance. But
Yeah, we,
that's quality.
we,
Fair play,
we don't care. We'll be giving out free.
class.
No, I love that.
Yeah, please let me secure one. And make sure I
Yeah, of
don't run out.
course, of course, mate. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I love a Minto quality.
I think that's one of the things, right? Because like you go to these events and like outside of the photos and the videos and stuff, you don't really get anything outside of a lanyard.
Yeah, exactly.
As if you don't lose them.
Oh, don't get me started. Oh, I managed to lose mine from the Katana LAN as well. I don't even know how.
I've actually,
every single event.
I've got a spare one if you want it, because I had the media pass and team pass. If you want it,
I mean, mate, I won't say no because like, I was gutted. It's like every single time.
Yeah, tough to keep track of, right?
Honestly, I don't even know how it happens. Just like even CDL events, I'm like, oh, where's my pass? It's gone.
As long as you don't lose it when you're out there, you know.
Yeah, very true.
And they'd still let him in. Let's be honest.
Amazing. There's a couple of little things I wanted to touch on, and it's just around like your experience running a rotation, right? Because one, you get like roster info before anyone else, but like it's also got you in trouble a couple of times, right?
Yeah, the Raffy one, he does get trolled sometimes.
Nah, it's only Raffy that gets me. He is the only guy who gets me, and it's happened twice now.
Honestly,
so
it got me as well. I was like, "What the?"
Yeah,
fuck
no,
is
it got me
that
so. It's because it goes through Raffy to someone else to me, and like that someone else is usually someone that I trust. So like, that is how it gets mixed up. Because if Raffy told me directly, I'd be like, "No fucking way, you're baiting me.
Yeah.
I'm not having it." But he's like learned to like go through someone else. It's insane. The levels of effort to troll is crazy.
You got to respect it a little bit, though, right?
Oh, 100%. Like fair play. The game's a game.
What's been the biggest scoop, I'd say?
Oh,
that's a good question. I think the biggest one is probably when NYSL decided to not host their major last year.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest like scoop for the entire scene. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Like all of the roster changes sort of become one in my brain. that it's hard to like pick out one that's bigger than all of the other ones.
And like, do you get the intel from like? I'm pretty sure I've seen it on the rotation anyway. But like, when players are getting picked up to the league, like, will people say to you, "Don't share this," or like?
Oh, all of the time. Like so many people. Like I'm super respectful with that kind of shit. If somebody asks me to not share something, I will actively do my best to not share it unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah. A big one, I guess. Not in the same sense as a scoop, but obviously someone who you're very pally with and has ended up in the league this year, ErikBoom. I mean, you must be buzzing for that.
Oh, mate, that kid. I don't even. Again, this is another thing that I don't know quite how it happened, but Eric is now one of my closest friends in the world, and it's like such a pleasure to know him, even if I do bully him behind the scenes. Like. That was a difficult one because he himself was like, I don't know if I'm getting in. I don't know if I'm getting in. And then somebody else told me that he was getting in. So then I had to like go through the mental battle of if I tweet this, then they're gonna think that he told me, but he didn't. So like, how do I go about it when I get the news out because it's come from a different source, but also protect him as one of my closest friends and not get him in trouble?
It's a tough balance, right?
Oh yeah, it's so difficult. It's like there's so many different like relationships that need managing, and that's one thing that nobody ever sees is like that balance of like when and when not to tweet something and publish something.
It's a fine line, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, mate. It's difficult because like you could tweet something and it'll really really piss someone off, and
Especially
but then.
COD players.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, not tweeting about someone can also piss them off.
Yeah.
It's so difficult because everyone's ego is so fragile in this scene that it's like really difficult to find that balance.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. People tweet you or like DM you, right, saying, "Where's my stats?" and stuff like that all the time.
Honestly, and it makes me kind of glad that the Codcaster is so chilled that the stats are almost impossible to pull,
Yeah.
because like, you know what, it just takes a little bit of pressure off me.
100%, 100%. And I guess sticking on the Miami Heretics a little bit, you've got the Miami Heretics Academy, the coaches corner.
Yeah, it's not been good looks in the cup so far this year, but
Will we
trust
ever
me.
see it on land? Miami Heretics Academy on land.
Oh, out of Katana LAN. Oh,
We may or may not be playing at 2 different lands this year.
okay.
You may or may not see the Heretics Academy in its natural habitat of land.
Oh, is that gonna be in the Heretics jerseys?
Oh well, I have a Heretics jersey, so I will be, but I'm not sure about
Yeah.
the rest of them.
when it comes to stuff like that, like, do you ever get anyone from Miami just going, "You can't call yourself Miami Heretics Academy"?
I don't think that'll happen with us because they're obviously very aware of like my friendship with Eric.
Yeah.
So like they just know that it's just a bit of a piss take.
Yeah. No, fair. And talking of lands, obviously recently we've had the Katana LAN, we've had already this year we've had Boston, and then Miami this week, which I believe you're heading out to tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow night I get on my coach. It's a travel day from
Coach?
hell. Yeah, so I'm in Newcastle right now. So it's an 8-hour coach journey to London.
Oh,
I'll get there at 4:30. My flight is at 10 a.m. and it's a 9.5-hour flight.
Jeez.
It's a travel day from hell.
I mean,
oh.
at least at the other end, right? It shouldn't be that bad. Like once you get there, as long as there's no delays.
As long as there's no delays, I'll be. Yeah, it'll be lovely weather. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be like what 30 degrees
Yeah.
Celsius. Oh, it's gonna. Oof, that's needed.
I hope the aircon's working in the pit, mate, because like.
So actually, a little bit of information that I'm not sure a lot of people know right now, but the pit is actually in the same room as the CDL.
Oh.
What?
So it's going to be like Rally was in 2022. So it's like the way the room is laid out, just to the right of the entrance is where the 8 stations for the Challengers pit are going to be. It's going to be a long day.
8 stations.
8 stations, which means we have 4 heats of winners round 1.
BO3?
Best of 3s, yeah.
When's the BO5s kicking in then? Second round?
No, it'll be winners round 3.
Oh, shit.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to be all best of 3s on the Saturday.
Wow.
And then the first round on the Friday, sorry, and then the first round on the Saturday will be best of 5.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, great that they've managed to get the LAN on, right? And any opportunity for Challengers players to play on LAN, I'm all for. I think it sounded like there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
I think you tweeted out about Miami Heretics themselves didn't have as much involvement as they probably would have liked. It was more.
Initially, they didn't do anything. It was all misfits on like the ex-owners of the Mutineers. It was all them that like got the idea up and running. To their credit, though, as the process moved on, the Heretics did step up and they did help a lot. But yeah, initially it was misfits who were the ones to get the ball rolling.
I love that. I mean, I don't know if you can say, but do you know when the process started? Was it after the backlash, or was it like they were already in talks for it?
No, it was like December time.
Okay.
The process started. Like as soon as Misfits found out that Heretics weren't going to do it, they were like straight on it.
I mean, fair play for stepping up as well. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
On the lands, like, how did you find Katana, especially compared to like the NA lands, right? Because
Yeah.
we've been to a couple, but I know you've been to loads. So
Yeah, so I think with the Katana LAN, the only thing that we can really compare it to is other LANs that we've had in the UK, which is nothing. And I fair play to Heffy, mate, because that guy smashed it out of the park with that event. Like, I know there were delays for main stage and stuff like that, but honestly, who gives a shit? Because that event was absolutely epic. It was just exactly what the UK Call of Duty scene needed. It was just a bunch of people who really cared about giving back to the community in the same place, doing what they can to give like the UK scene a product that is worth giving their time to.
Yeah.
And that's that. Like the intentions were so different to ACCL, and Hef really does embody that kind of like, it's not about me, it's about the community kind of sense. And that's what made Katana LAN just like a really special event in my eyes. Comparing it to NA LANs though, like it's difficult because a Challengers LAN is a different beast.
Yeah.
That's like $100,000 tournament now. It's a way different from like a Katana LAN. But if you want to compare it to smaller LANs, I think the sense of community in EU and the UK is way stronger because everyone knows everyone. Everyone's friends. When you walk into that Katana LAN venue, everybody was just all chummy. Like everybody just smiles at each other. Like there's not a single person in that venue that you wouldn't go up to and be like, "Hello, mate, how you doing?" Whereas if you look at like one of the NA locals, like if you go back to the start of Modern Warfare 3, there was one in Columbus where somebody got punched in the face and stuff like that. Like
that clip was wild, by the way, ridiculous.
Oh, so funny. That was one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. But like, it's just a different feeling in EU. I think it's because we as a European community feel a lot more grateful for it because we've been so scammed out of events and LANs for the last forever. So it's like it feels like more of a happy place to be rather than I'm going to this event just to win and I'm gonna sometimes physically fight everybody who gets in my way.
Yeah, I think we only saw like one potential of that happening right in the pit.
Yeah, Sean when he got up and he walked out, that was funny as well.
And Cop, you were front and center for that as well, right?
Oh, I mean, it was it was incredible. Like I don't know what else can you say on it. What, just passion, incredible. I loved it. Give me back. That's what I say.
I'm sure there's going to be an announcement or two soon. I think.
Yes.
I actually think Katana just announced their league today as well. And for those of you who don't know, if you're in the Katana League, you get priority tickets to the next LAN, which I'm assuming they're going to be sold out pretty quickly.
Well, they were this time as well. So
yeah, like incredibly quick, and then like even any that come back on the market, right, got snapped right back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, there was only one ticket left, right? Because I think a team dropped out last minute, and that got taken the day before. So that was by the 22 owners who came up to me very nicely and said, "Will your boys mind getting here at 9 a.m. tomorrow because we really want to play?" And I'm like, "It's fine, mate. Just take it." Yeah, incredible. And then like on to Miami. Obviously, it's coming up this week. From a challenger's point of view, top 4 predictions.
Ooh.
This is difficult. I think I'm finding it really hard to like separate the top 6 teams. So like asking me to pick a top 4, I think is mean.
Give us a top 6 then, if you want.
I think the top 3 will likely be SGP Syndicate, FaZe Black, and Boston Breach Academy. And then like the next step down, I think MYSL Academy, OMA EU, but I'm not convinced. And then it could be one of like 5 or 6 teams, to be honest. I'm going to go with fourth Space Esports as the last team, which is Samueli, Promar, Noisy, and Who's their fourth?
Ooh.
Oh, it's Bink. Sorry, my
Bink.
brain just lagged for a second there. But yeah, that's the other team that I'll have making top 6 at that event.
Jeez. What about you, Cop?
My top 4. Boston. Oh, this is hard. Boston. I don't know. I'm going to go FaZe Black. I don't feel like I can write off Exceed on LAN. And then something tells me, I don't know why, just War. And I don't think they've looked like fantastic all year. But it seems like whenever they look like they're beatable, they're going to lose a series. They just somehow win it. Apart from Steve, but they seem to have managed to get over that hurdle. So I'm going to go War in there. And then after that, I honestly don't know. I just think they might be my top 3 for it. If I'm honest, I don't think anyone else in EU is going to do much. Omen for some reason seem to have gone off the boil.
War
Yeah.
actually going, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah. They're my top 3. I'll give you my top 3.
Uh-huh. What about like dark horses that are gonna make a run?
And do you want to start with this? Is there any?
I think F-Top's team.
Yeah.
Do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Felix needs a bounce back LAN after Boston. Like his team in Boston got what? Map 5 round 11 by 8 prospect with a team kill from Felix in round 11. So like I think he badly needs a bounce back. As for other dark horses, I don't really know, to be honest. I think Gabe's team is a dark horse. Like they very nearly beat FaZe Black last weekend.
Yeah, they look good as well.
Yeah, they went to map 5 against FaZe Black for top 8 last weekend, and then were 4-1 up in map 5, and then lost their heads when they got double killed by the propane tank on high rise, and then lost.
Oh, that was gut wrenching. I've never felt more sick for one individual in my life.
No, trust me. Gabe loses in the most heartbreaking ways all of the time. Like, he lost like elite quals in Vanguard, like match to qualify for the elite in reverse sweep map 5 round 11 twice that year.
Oof.
So like that guy deserves a break, and I'd love to see him make a run to like top 12, maybe even top 8 if possible.
Because I mean, even looking back at Toronto last year, right, against Boston, we're up in the control.
Exactly. Like the most jarring and unfortunate ways that guy has lost, and I think he deserves some in return. I also think Phantoms, Darkside, Rooper, and KB they've got the potential to make a run as well. They're currently top 6. I want to say in the NA Cup. I'm still lagging a bit behind this morning, but I think KB is one of the most naturally gifted and talented players that has come through in a long while. 18 years old, absolutely fantastic. I think it's a matter of time before he's in the league.
Ooh,
that's a shout. I respect that. The revived one though, F-Dot on that, they just seem to have negative ice. They're free and I mean, yeah. Today, every S&D went round 11. So if they had 4 round 11 S&Ds, they lost 3 of them. So I mean, they lost an invasion 2-3-8, 2-3-7. Like I don't know, mate. To be honest. And after Boston, I'm unsure. And then like, after that series today, I mean, like it was pretty. They were pretty abusive to each other. So it's like I don't know.
Really?
I wouldn't say anything like untowards, but it's like they weren't happy and like streams were still up. Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm unsure. I don't know. Definitely got the potential. Like F-Dot's incredible impact.
I feel like there's a lack of EU teams going to this event. It's like out of the 43 teams that are registered already, only 8 of them are EU. And,
yeah, I think we're only going to
have 8.5 of them. 8.5 of them are EU because Jed and Jake Maestro are playing with 8 prospect and Carl Groovy, which is
interesting.
I mean, it's the way the pro points work, though, right? Like you sort of need to get out to these events, no matter who you can go with.
Exactly, because like everybody who plays in this event is getting 500 pro points for free because you get 500 pro points for finishing top 64 at LAN, and there's only 64 teams.
We had a look at it though, right, Cop, from like a Noctem point of view. Whatever if the roster stays broadly the same after Miami, we don't really move much in the seedings because
if our roster was, I think we go 8th to 9th seed worst case. 8th seed worst case we go.
And even that I mean, it doesn't change who you play, right? If you go from 8th to 9th.
No, exactly. No, I think worst case we're 8th. Like best case, like maybe 7th and 6th seed that go. Like I think like Falcons and like Revived. Yeah, I think we go 7th because Reeal's not going to stay with Wardy, right? So Wardy isn't going Miami, so we'd go 7th, and then it depends how Falcons and Revived get on.
Interesting. I mean, on that, and I don't know if you have the scoop, but Reeal, does he go straight into that lineup, or is it going to be dependent on?
His visa still isn't sorted. That's why he's not going to the event.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was sorted. That's why I saw he tweeted at the Miami jersey.
Yeah, it's so that's why Steve-O decided to pick up Charlie, was because there is still a question mark of whether Jose can even make it to Miami. So they didn't want to practice with Jose for the last 2 weeks before the event, and then go into the event at the last minute and be like, oh shit, we need to pick someone up.
Yeah.
So they'd rather have these last 2 cups to practice with Hixie, and then actually have some sort of practice going into the event itself. It's super unfortunate for Jose. Like, that guy's been put through the ringer for the last year and a half.
Yeah, and you think he finally has a break, like be able to play this year on Royal Ravens, and then the visa still don't come through, and now he's like,
exactly. I just hope that he finally gets it sorted, because that guy is one of the best players in challengers worldwide, and I think that he deserves to be in a position where he can show off what he's got.
That's the proper shit thing, right? Like, he is so talented, and the only thing that's stopping him is this fucking visa.
Yeah, literally that.
I mean, one of the beauties of the CDL, it being an NA exclusive, right? I mean, on EU, do you think? Obviously, we didn't have a great performance in Boston as like a collective. Do you think that having local lands, if the prize, like, it can encourage more of the top teams to get to these events? Do you think it's going to benefit the EU scene in the long run on LAN in NA?
I'm not sure about benefiting them on LAN. I think in terms of growing the EU scene to have more players, yeah. So if we grow to have more players, chances are we'll have more good players. So maybe yes, in a roundabout way to answer your question. But in terms of actually having LAN reps, I don't think it really matters for the top teams, because even in NA, you don't see the top teams go into the local 3K, 4K LANs there either. But in NA, it's much more difficult to travel across the country as well, because people live in Texas or California, they're not going to travel to Columbus for a local event, because they'd spend more on their travel than they would to actually that they would recoup back by winning the event. So there's no point, especially for a top team that would likely have to miss out on a whole week of practice to, no offense to him, but to go and play against COD. It's like someone like Face Black is not going to do that, because they could have a pro scrim instead of doing that. I know what I would choose if I'm the player in that sense, and I'm scrimming the pro team every time.
Yeah. My only thought behind it was you've got a lot of young players 18, 19 that don't have much experience on LAN, in EU. But no, interesting.
I mean, there are those young players who are breaking through, but Zappy's already shown that you can do it on LAN.
Yeah.
If you can do it online, well, I say this, but if you can do it online and you're not hacking, you should be able to do it on LAN, no problems asked.
Yeah. And a lot of players you'd think in theory should be better on LAN, right? If they can keep their composure and they've been used to playing on 30, 40 ping, you're playing on 6, 7.
That is a thing though that I will say for EU. It is so difficult to get good ping here. So regularly you see players load into lobbies on 20, 30 ping. In NA, you've got so many people who are on the super fast fiber. I get 1 ping in a lobby. Shout out Nikki D in the FaZe facility. It gets worse for them when they go to LAN, because there's no true LAN. You go from 1 ping to around 10 to 15.
Yeah.
So it gets worse for those players. Whereas for EU players who are usually on that 20 to 30 kind of range, unless your name's BB Connor, because he's got web. But it feels so much better for them, because they are on that lower ping and they can actually have an advantage because it's like running with ankle weights.
Yeah.
Because then you take those off and then you just like you sprint 10 times faster.
You see with like Jowl, right? Like he's hindered
Oh,
online,
100%.
and then like he gets to land and he's a different animal. But yeah, online you've got that whole difficulty of him being in Portugal and the shocker.
Yeah, it just makes all of the online series fake because like what's the point in scrimming against the Spanish on 60 ping?
You just ruin your confidence.
Well, yeah, exactly.
How much prize pool do you think it would take to lure like an AIM at EU to a UK LAN event?
I think 10k.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 10k is probably around that kind of spot where it'll like start convincing the top teams to come, possibly even a Spanish team flying over or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you split it even 8k for first, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it all takes 20%, you're still left with. Wait, my maths is fucked. 6,400, which is still a nice amount each. 1,600 quid each.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad for a weekend's work, is it?
No. I mean, like,
it's more about the experience anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you can make money back from the tournament to cover you being there, I think it's worth it. Especially if it happens at the end of the season, like when nobody's playing for anything anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's when the bigger teams, well, not even the bigger teams, they might even play with like each other. They might mix up their rosters, but that's when the more well-known names will start going to these events. Like if we could have one in the summer, in like August, September time, I think it would really you'd see a lot more of those top players come because they don't have an elite playoffs to practice for.
Yeah, that's the tough thing, right? You're always missing out on something when you go to LAN. Like what I heard from the Middlesbrough LAN is loads of people would have loved to have gone, but if you're still in the elite, you want to get that practice in online.
Exactly.
Lovely stuff. I mean, the last question from me: if you were to play Fantasy GM, you have your own franchise. You're starting from scratch. You're not allowed to pick up any players from in the league as it stands. Who do you pick up?
Oh, that's a great question. If I was in charge of a team, who would I pick up? Oh my gosh.
Pull out the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I might need the spreadsheet to fucking help me here. I would pick up Chilt and Lunas would be my AR duo.
Ooh.
I would have Joe Deceives.
Oh.
And probably Steve-O.
Yeah.
And that would be my team. I would have Steve-O, Joe Deceives, Lunas, and Weeman.
Oof. What about you, Cop?
Now you see, right, this is my big issue with the CDL. I've never felt more unattached with it because we don't have like a UK roster that, I can just get behind. So I've got to stick with EU only. And I think, it's got to be Weeman and Steve. Like, I don't think I can say their name. They deserve a spot 86 times, then not pick them. And then I've got to pick Beans just because he might be my favourite player in challenges with what he like, how explosive he is in him on LAN and stuff. And then I'm going to need another sub. Now,
remember what team you're part of?
Oh, no. Shit.
No, all right, we'll make it.
I'm going to go. No, do you know what? If you'd have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said Hixie, but now he's gone to Omir. It's not been fantastic for him. So, honestly, do I go up and comer or do I go someone? I mean, it might have to be. I'm gonna have to be boring, and I'm gonna have to take bans. And if I was to pick someone else, I'd go a new and up and comer. I'd go Chunk. Just to test. Yeah, I'd go Chunk. If I'd go EU Dream Team.
I like that. It's a tough one. I mean, before the last weekend, I think there could have been. You could have quite easily said, just pick up that whole Omit team with the coaching staff, right?
Yeah.
And have a go and see what happens.
I think they'd compete, honestly.
I think it's hard to. In my head, cups don't really matter. in terms of like reflection on how good a team is. Especially this weekend where teams are trying to like flesh out their map pool for LAN as much as they
100%,
are.
yeah.
Because the chances are, if you get the opportunity to play a good team on maps that you don't normally play, you'll take it.
Yeah. Oof. Tough, isn't it? It's tough.
Oh, can I have a substitute player on that bench, actually?
Go on, mate.
Can I have Wardy on that sub bench?
I'm shocked Reeal's not anywhere to be mentioned.
Well,
he's in
the league in my head. Yeah, I left him out because he's like he might be in the league by the time this comes out. Who knows? But Wardy on my sub bench, like Wardy and Chunk are my sub bench players in that situation.
Heretics are starting in the winners bracket.
Ooh. But that's the thing, yeah. If you're the Heretics now, like there's no way you make a change, even if Reeal.
Especially if they don't finish top 12 like they did in Boston. If they win a match on LAN.
Yeah, if they get 6-0 though, then
yeah, we'll see. But you have to remember, like they're split this time round. 2 of the 5 games that they lost were against Toronto and FaZe.
Yeah, I get it. It's but they've definitely got to come up with a half decent result.
Yeah, like if they win a series, I think that counts as a decent result for them. It's because at the start of the year, they told the players that to consider themselves a success, they have to outdo what Mutineers did last year, and that was nothing. So
it's a motivation.
Yeah, truly. And they might end up having to play Optic winners round 1 again, which will be beautiful.
Oh shit! Do they match up well? I haven't really seen it. Like
I mean, I don't really know how it's going to match up because of they've not looked at each other since Eric's gone into the team, so it's pretty much a new team. But Javi, he has it in for them. He's like the new Dave Paddy. in Rally at the start of Modern Warfare 2, he came up to me before he played Optic and was like, he said to my face, he was like, "Make sure you get my reaction when I beat Optic," and then he did.
Jesus, that's a statement, isn't it?
And Javi, it's Reeal, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
okay. I just wanted to check. I love it. Well, and thank you so much. I mean, is there any questions you have for us? Anything you want to know from a Noctem POV?
I mean, not off the top of my head. I think the only thing that I've got to say to you guys is just thank you for the support that you give the community, because it does not go unnoticed. Like, especially you, Cop, as well. Like, what you're doing right now is absolutely fantastic, and EU needs you, like, straight up. And just thank you for all you guys do, because it's like a level of support that no other org is giving at the minute, and it really does like fill me with hope for the future of the scene.
I mean, hopefully. I mean, that gas goes likewise as well. Like, you do amazing things, and I think the more amazing people we can get in it, right, and the more people are doing it, will motivate others to do. Hopefully, the scene gets back to somewhere where it should be. Because at the minute, I'm currently there's a Challenger Cup going on. The top 4, there's not a single stream on it because players are refusing to do it. So I mean,
super in the Spanish.
Yeah. So I mean, just hopefully, right, like content becomes more of a thing, and some sponsors step back into the scene, and just everyone being in front of a camera and some content is more normal than what it has been and what it currently is.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think we get there, and like you see more and more people doing things like documentaries and stuff like that. One from the Boston Passion Pit, that was sick.
That was one of the best things I've ever worked on in my life.
Incredible.
Yeah, how quickly it came out as well. Like, it was so polished.
That was in the planning since Toronto last year.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it told the story so well. Like, I don't think you could have done anything else to tell that story a bit better. Maybe have a little bit more Noctem footage in there, but then again, we lost. So, like, it's one thing like I hate about that is like Doug beat Aroma's team last year in Toronto, and now Doug's last win on LAN will always be against Noctem. It's just really sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
We let him have it. Like, we let him have it.
Yeah.
We really knew what was going on, didn't we? So we said, lads, don't worry, just smoke to Matt 1 minute like that. Be kind. Come on now.
One last one for the road.
I love it.
Yeah, rough.
Well, thank you again, and like, let's cut it there. But thank you very much.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Amazing.